to you. I might get anywhere. It's up to you.
I do.
Um, so we can give them to the police officers.
This assessment tool that really helps victims of domestic violence realize that they are in danger.
The idea is really just to start those community conversations regarding a piece of literature.
Very cold temperatures on the way overnight tonight into your Wednesday. We'll show you the forecast, what you can expect. It's all coming up.
You're watching WOW 6 News.
Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Tabitha Mills. Low temperatures and high winds will lead to a cold night and morning in Lawrence. Let's go to our chief meteorologist, Rick Catsby, with a first look at weather.
First Weather is brought to you by Allied Auto Body CarStar.
Yeah, Tabitha, right now a wind chill advisory in effect for tomorrow night into tomorrow morning, that is, with wind chills running anywhere from 10 to minus 19 below zero by tomorrow morning. You'll definitely feel the difference. Right now, Douglas County Bank Terracam showing you just a glimmer of what was left over of beautiful sunset again tonight. If you've missed them, they've been awesome the last couple of sunrises and sunsets. Current temperature 25 degrees, feels like 19, but all these numbers are headed downward for tonight and really dropping for tomorrow morning. And once the sun comes up, it will not climb, it'll actually fall with the temperatures and also the wind chills. Right now, nothing on radar. There is some light snow just to the north of here that could get in here later on tonight, sometime around the midnight hour, but I don't see much accumulation. The forecast outlook showing the temperatures dropping 23 to 16 by midnight, with some light snows could accumulate in kind of a dusting type, mainly northeast of us. 9 degrees by 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, and then by 9 a.m. around 4 with a wind chill factor anywhere from 15 to 20 below. So a cold start to your Wednesday. We'll show you the rest of the forecast in a few minutes. Tabitha?
Gonna be freezing. Thanks, Rick. And with the cold weather, it's important to keep warm and don't forget about your pets. 6 News reporter Amina Smith stops at the Lawrence Humane Society and has a few tips on how to keep our furry friends warm this winter.
Thanks, Tabitha. I'm here with Kate Megji from the Humane Society. Thank you so much for joining us.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah, no problem. So first, tell me how we can help keep our pets safe in this cold weather.
Well, paramount is keeping them inside. People think that animals can be outside in these really cold temperatures, and really they can't. After you take your pet outside to walk or to relieve themselves is to wipe their paws off. They can get ice built up under in the cracks of their paws, which can cause frostbite, cuts, and bleeding. And then they can also get antifreeze or salt from the roads stuck on their paws, which then they'll lick off, which can be poisonous to them.
How dangerous is it to leave your dog outside? I know people, they have outdoor pets. How dangerous is it kind of to leave your dog outside?
It's pretty dangerous. In Kansas, I believe, they can be outside legally as long as they have a shelter and not frozen water. Our recommendations are to provide a little bit more housing than that. But when we're talking about, below freezing temperatures, it's better for everybody to have shelter.
I know that a lot of dogs and cats, they have outerwear for them to wear when they do go outside. How important do you think it is for them to kind of wear that?
It's very important, particularly for pets with short hair, older pets, younger pets, puppies. It's very important for them to be covered from their neck all the way down through their tummy to help them stay warm.
Well, thank you so much, Kate, for joining us. It's Kate Megji from the Humane Society. I'm Amina Smith. Back to you, Tabitha.
All right, thanks, Amina. For more tips and information on keeping your pets safe this winter, you can head to 6lawrence.com and click on links. On the agenda at City Hall tonight, commissioners will discuss the proposed sign located at 900 New Hampshire Street. Marriott Town Place Suites applied for the 15-foot tall, 4-foot wide, 8 inches deep sign in November. The Historic Resources Commission denied the proposed sign and asked to work with the applicant to find a solution. The applicant, however, appealed the matter to the City Commission, and tonight commissioners will determine if the sign meets design guidelines. Also on the agenda, commissioners will receive an update on payments for Rock Chalk Park. If appropriate, they will authorize payments to Rock Chalk Park LLC related to loans. The final check claim would be paid on next Tuesday's agenda. And tonight, Mayor Mike Amix will also proclaim Friday, January 9th as Law Enforcement Appreciation Day. And although that's a couple of days away, some of our youngest citizens are already jumping in to say thank you. It started like this.
I traced and I got one color and I drew it up top.
Moved on to this.
Paint and markers.
Paint everywhere, glitter places, but overall it was a good time.
And resulted in this.
Okay, we need to say thank you to the police officers.
Children from the La Petite Academy, the Children's Learning Center, and Princeton Children's Center made thank you cards for local law enforcement officers.
I write for the police officer.
It was adorable. As a child, when we talk to them about police officers and safety patrol people, they really admire what they do, and that's something that they look up to.
What was your favorite part about making the cards?
So we can give them to the police officers.
Officers are sure to enjoy these kind words, drawings, and scribbles.
Right now, especially with all that's going on, but anytime it's nice to show our appreciation for them. They're so behind the scenes and we don't get an opportunity to see them and thank them often enough. I'm sure these will bring a smile to their faces. I mean, it brought a smile to my face.
And these handmade cards seem to mean much more than what meets the eye.
When a child makes something for you, it comes from truly the bottom of their heart.
Thank you. Thank you.
The cards will be given to officers of the Kansas Highway Patrol, KU Public Safety, Douglas County Sheriff's Office, and the Lawrence Police Department. Changing gears a bit, Topeka has its first homicide of the year, and police say a 17-year-old was driving a vehicle yesterday when he was shot by a passenger. The vehicle crashed into a home and the suspect fled. Police say they are looking for a 21-year-old man as a person of interest in the shooting. They have not released possible reasons for the shooting. There were no other injuries. And changes could be on the way for Douglas County first responders. District Attorney Charles Brownson is working with local law enforcement to implement a lethality assessment tool to be used in domestic violence situations. Christine Chapman of the Willow Domestic Violence Center says this assessment can be the difference between a person's safety and a potentially deadly situation.
You know, we can say over and over, we are really worried about you, and everything that you're describing sounds so scary and so dangerous. But having this assessment tool that is research-based, that really shows the gravity of the situation, really changes the conversation and really helps victims of domestic violence realize that they are in danger.
In 2011, Johnson County rolled out a plan to enforce the lethality assessment. As a result, the number of women and children seeking counseling has tripled. In national politics, today is the first day the newly elected U.S. Congress is in session. Republicans have control of both houses for the first time since 2006. Tension is already mounting both within the party and between Congress and the White House. Martha Shade has the details.
The Honorable John A. Boehner of the state of Ohio, having received a majority of the votes cast, is duly elected Speaker of the House of Representatives.
Congress's new class has been in power for a single day, and House Speaker John Boehner has already had to stave off a power struggle. Boehner and his allies scrambled Tuesday to lock down support for his re-election as Speaker, while a small group of conservative lawmakers attempted to unseat him. Boehner addressed them in his victory speech.
As Speaker, all I ask and frankly expect is that we disagree without being disagreeable.
Florida Representative Ted Yoho and Texas Representative Louis Gohmert were Boehner's Republican challengers. Prior to the vote, Yoho said it would come down to whether or not the Republican Party wants to head in a new direction.
You've seen a groundswell, a grassroots movement of people saying, you know what, I appreciate you offering us an alternative because I'm tired of the status quo. This is a vote against the status quo.
Yoho and Gohmert received a combined 5 votes. Though Boehner managed to hang on to his Speaker title, this latest attempt at a coup could shake confidence in his leadership throughout both chambers of Congress. Another expected hurdle for Boehner and the Republican-controlled Congress, trying to get approval for the Keystone Pipeline connecting Canada and the U.S. The White House has already said if the bill passes, President Obama will use his veto power.
We indicated that the president would veto similar legislation that was being considered by the previous Congress, and our position on this hasn't changed.
I'm Martha Shade reporting.
And an exciting note a little closer to home, the Lawrence High School debate team is advancing to the state championship. The team placed second in a regional tournament in December. It will compete in the state tournament at Derby High School on January 16th and 17th. The team is led by Coach Jeff Plinsky. The students competing are juniors and seniors. Congratulations to them. Well, the cold air moving across the Midwest isn't only dangerous for people and pets, it's also harmful for crops. Coming up, what Kansas can expect from this week's Arctic chill.
Plus, the Kansas football team has a brand new offensive coordinator. I am Kevin Romery. I'll have those details coming up later in sports.
Local news, weather, and sports from your community. You're watching WOW 6 News. 6 News is brought to you by Visiting Nurses. The Market Update is brought to you by Pods Discount Carpet.
No agreement has been reached over claims of genetically engineered Monsanto wheat. The lawsuits from across the country have been consolidated in Kansas. Monsanto has motioned to dismiss the case, but officials say the parties are exchanging settlement offers. The next hearing will be on January 29th. And the cold winter air coming through the Midwest isn't just uncomfortable for us, it's also damaging the wheat crop. Officials say a third of the nation's wheat belt will likely be affected. Most of Kansas is expected to be spared, but 6 other Midwestern states could see more significant damage. Some damage is expected tomorrow morning, but most is expected Thursday morning.
Right, overnight, tomorrow night into early on Thursday morning, that's right. I'm trying to do, in my flower bed, I'm trying to winterize some pansies. They can survive the winter, but so I'm gonna, it's kind of a test to see if they can survive this. So,
So
far,
they're good.
That's right.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, everything that I had outside, if I didn't move it in, is dead, so you're ahead of me on that game.
So far, it hasn't been 5 below zero either, like
No,
we'll get to.
yeah.
Yeah, we have some cold air on our forecast, 26 degrees the high temperature today. And so we are cold today, but not nearly as cold we're going to be tomorrow. A big difference coming. Morning low at 15. That's pretty much what we were forecasting for today. And no rain or snowfall today. We're only behind just a trace so far for the year. Your forecast is coming up next.
Have a news tip? Call 6 News at 832-NEWS. Weather, brought to you by McDonald's of Lawrence.
So once again, wind chill advisory in effect for tonight and for tomorrow, really from around 5 o'clock in the morning until about noontime tomorrow. That's when we'll have the peak wind, also the coldest temperatures. So be wary of that. We're not going to break any records. These are not record cold temperatures. These are just cold temperatures with north winds at around 15 to 25. It'll be chilly tomorrow morning. You'll certainly feel it, and dress accordingly if you're going to be out for a very long period of time. I want to take you back and show you the sunset. We have this in motion for you. And again, sunrises have been beautiful the last several days. This sunset also beautiful, and you can see some of the airplanes going by. That's a little white streak that happened there in the western sky. And this was only taken for about 30 minutes, and you can see how the sky has changed in that period of time. Look at the pinks showing up and the dark reds off to the right side of that screen. Another beautiful sunset tonight across Kansas. Here's the outlook for tonight and tomorrow. 23 degrees by 7 o'clock. We should drop to 16 with some very light snow showers in the area about midnight tonight. This will not amount to anything at all. I think mainly this is going to be off to the north and east of us. I will show you where it is on radar. 9 by 6 in the morning. Then we'll drop, after the sun comes up tomorrow morning, we'll drop to around 4. Some models say maybe even a 0 by 9 o'clock in the morning, and we'll climb to possibly 7 by around noontime, with a high tomorrow around 8, maybe 10 for a high. So not too warm. So here's the snow passing very quickly off toward the southeast, mainly across Iowa and probably northern Missouri. This western side here, you can see just a couple of showers of snow that will slide into northeastern Kansas. Could give us a little bit of snow around midnight. That will fall apart and move out very quickly and won't amount to much at all. I'm not calling for any accumulation with that system as it drops off toward the southeast tonight. It is advancing the cold air off to the south, and by tomorrow morning, high pressure over Nebraska. Northerly winds fairly strong, and there's the morning wind chills anywhere from -10 to -19. So the cold air settles off toward the south and will hang here for tomorrow night into early on Thursday morning. But then Thursday afternoon, once that high moves off toward the east, temperatures will respond very quickly. So 8 degrees your high temperature for tomorrow. Then we'll drop to 5 degrees below zero, probably by midnight tomorrow night. And so early morning Thursday around 5 below. But then by sunrise we'll climb, and then 32 degrees your high temperature for Thursday. So that's a rapid change in temperatures there. And then back to 18 with a north wind on Friday, and then up to 25 on Saturday, 37 on Sunday. Looking forward to 37. That'll feel like 87.
Hopefully.
Yes,
I don't
with
know, the
light
last
winds and
time I
sunshine.
said I was looking forward to 37 degrees.
Weird,
but
isn't it? Yes.
We're here.
Yeah, we are. Cold tomorrow.
Bundle up.
Okay,
All right.
yeah.
Thanks, Rick. Well, Read Across Lawrence is back for another chapter. The pages you'll soon want to start turning. That's next.
Select Warn Radar is brought to you by Niehoff Dunko.
The Lawrence Public Library announces the next page of its yearly Read Across Lawrence event. The library invites adults to read Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale and then come together in February to talk about it. The idea is to start a community conversation about a piece of literature.
We take different themes of the book. There are actually a lot of controversial themes in The Handmaid's Tale that are really relevant today, even though this book was written several decades ago. And we just take those themes and we pull people into conversations about them. We just open up the dialogue.
Read Across Lawrence also has a children's section. Kids can read and discuss the book Chasing Vermeer. And for the first time, the library also has a teen selection, the book Where Things Come Back, actually.
Probably got a lot in common with that.
Yeah, Where Things Come Back?
Yeah, no, the teen section.
Oh.
No.
You read? That's the thing?
That, yeah, barely.
Okay.
On a teenager level, probably.
Let's talk about some Kansas men's basketball.
If you're giving it a grade so far, what are you giving it?
Like I don't want to say it out loud.
I heard D almost coming out of that. Team's 11-2. Not an A probably, but I think probably a solid B so far. But yeah, so far so good. Jayhawks knocking off the Running Rebels to wrap up the non-conference. Bill Self weighing in on KU's 11-2 start. Coming up, it was much better than a D. Plus, the Kansas women's basketball team a day away from playing its Big 12 Conference home opener. Bonnie Hendrickson breaking down what went wrong at Texas coming up after this. Welcome back to sports, everyone. Non-conference portion of the Kansas men's basketball team season is over. On Sunday, Jayhawks wrapped things up nicely with a 15-point win against UNLV. Now, would you believe that KU's 11-2 mark entering Big 12 play 2 games better than last year's 9-4 mark?
Another offensive rebound. Wow. We weren't ready to play with Kentucky, and we've improved a lot since then.
The Kentucky game. Make no mistake about it, the Kansas men were in no way, shape, or form prepared for what happened to them in Indianapolis. The same can probably be said for the events that followed a month or so later in Philadelphia.
You know, going back before Thanksgiving, although we've been a little bit inconsistent, we basically played fairly well, with the exception of one miserable night, but we've played very well in halves and not played well in halves, but we played good enough to win, with the exception of the Temple game.
Despite those 2 outings, however, the non-conference schedule was pretty good to the Jayhawks. KU beat big names in Florida, Georgetown, Tennessee, Utah, and Michigan State. Add in victories against UNLV and UCSB, and Bill Self's squad posted 11 wins in 13 tries.
Record-wise, it's been really good. Record-wise, it's been really good, but from a consistency standpoint or execution or developing identity standpoint, I think it's been average.
Statistically speaking, KU's Big 12 numbers don't jump off the page. In fact, they do quite the opposite. Currently, in their 10-team league, the Hawks are 7th in scoring offense, 9th in scoring defense, 9th in scoring margin, and 10th in field goal percentage. According to the Jayhawks leader, the explanation is a simple one.
You watch teams during league play, opponents will shoot above 40% against them in league play, in large part because you're playing better teams night in and night out. And we basically kind of played a league, even though not as strong, but we played a pretty good non-conference schedule.
Up next for KU at Baylor tomorrow. When the Kansas men take on Iowa State on January 17th in Ames, ESPN Game Day crew will be in attendance. Jayhawks and Cyclones tip off from Hilton Coliseum at 8. You can see that one live on WOW Channels 33 and 233. Meanwhile, Kansas women's basketball team plays its Big 12 Conference home opener tomorrow. On Wednesday, the Jayhawks take on Oklahoma at 7 p.m. at Allen Fieldhouse. KU enters the contest 0-1 in league play after falling at undefeated and third-ranked Texas 3 days ago, 60-46.
I mean, I was pleased and happy with our effort in the half-court defense. I thought we were tough. We had great energy. We flew around. We got some really tough balls in the air and defensively and traffic and rebounding, got out. And but offensively, like I said, to you and I said to the kids afterwards, I mean, we can win in the 50s in this league. Pretty hard to win in the 40s in this league. There aren't many people that do that.
Well, elsewhere, California assistant coach Rob Likens, he is coming to Kansas. Golden Bears wide receivers coach will take over as the Jayhawks offensive coordinator. Head coach David Beatty making that announcement and 5 other staff additions just moments ago. Well, in other Kansas gridiron news, 2 KU football players will represent the university in postseason all-star games. Senior linebacker Ben Heaney has accepted an invitation to play in the East-West Shrine game on January 17th in St. Petersburg, Florida. Senior cornerback Ja'Cory Shepard, meanwhile, will play in the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama on January 24th. Both games will be televised live on NFL Network. And finally tonight, a quick programming note. Andrew Baker hosting a new episode of Varsity Showcase tomorrow night. Free State High's Emily Bermel and Eudora High's Mitchell Ballack on the show. You can see it live on Wednesday at 7:30. Then flip on over to watch that Kansas men's game against Baylor. That's a late start at 8 o'clock. Getting busy now. The second half of everybody's semester. The second semester now getting going.
It's underway.
You bet.
All right, thanks, Kevin. Well, coffee lovers rejoice. Starbucks has a new beverage, the new item on the menu, making people feel a bit Australian. That's next. Starbucks is now offering a new item on its menu. It's called a flat white. It's a mix of espresso and steamed milk that has a higher coffee to milk ratio than a latte, and it has a more velvety texture. The flat white is considered Australia's unofficial national beverage, and it's gaining popularity in Europe.
Sounds like coffee with heavy cream.
That's what it sounds like.
You know?
Yeah. What's
I
thought Foster's was the national beverage of Australia. Is that different?
That's the national beverage of 6 News. Well, that's
Or maybe not.
That's all the time we have. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you back here tonight at 10.